Thank you, everyone, for coming out to the historic Kanawha Canal today. I'm Jody Rogish from the Tuckahoe District Board of Supervisor. I'd like to first thank the folks that are here that made this happen today. My colleagues on the Board of Supervisor, our Vice Chair who's here today, Reverend Roscoe Cooper from the Fairfield District. I'm sure that Ms. Roundtree, Mr. Schmidt, and Reverend Nelson from the other districts would be here if they didn't have something else going on. So thank you to my colleagues. Just so everybody is aware, I mean, we can't do really cool projects like this without the collaboration and working together. So I'm extremely appreciative of my colleagues for helping making this happen. I also like to recognize our wonderful and fabulous County Manager, John Vitulkis. He actually is the one that makes sure that this county operates on a successful basis every single day. So thank you, John, and thank you for that. As well as I'd like to acknowledge our Deputy County Manager for Community, Mr. Steve Yob. Thank you, Steve, for working on this project for so long. We certainly would not be here without your efforts. Thank you. Joining us today is Michael Liebelt from CSX, Project Manager for Washington, D.C., Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, and West Virginia. We certainly appreciate you traveling here today representing CSX. Thank you, Michael. And finally, thank you to the Executive Director from the Rosalind Retreat and Conference Center, Ms. Cass Lawrence, who's here. Thank you for allowing us to spend time here on this beautiful piece of property in the Tuckahoe District. Thank you so much for having us today. Yeah, everyone, as you know, we're one of the oldest counties in the Commonwealth. Henrico County understands historical significance. That's why Pocahontas is reflected in our county seal. The Kanawha Canal is also part of our early history. Hundreds of years ago, it was used to ship goods along the James River. This canal dates to 1785 and the founding of the James River Company. George Washington was the company's honorary president. In 1835, the James River and Kanawha Canal Company began building a system of canals to connect the James with the Kanawha River in West Virginia, with the idea of expanding shipping routes westward. Fast forward to the industrial age, railroads started to pioneer a faster form of transportation, and that meant thousands of miles of tracks north and south along the eastern seaboard, and then with the expansion west as the nation grew. Rail lines were key to progress, and shipping methods, and as shipping methods and routes evolved, so did the traffic along the Kanawha Canal. So that brings us here to today. We're here to celebrate a wonderful donation, the transfer of approximately 65 acres along a 5-mile historic Kanawha Canal from CSX to Henrico County. Thank you. On Tuesday, this past Tuesday, our Board of Supervisors, with the help of my colleagues, we approved a resolution that would authorize the county to accept this property and several bridges located on it. Because of this gift, those who need safe passage to and from their property will have improved access. In case of an emergency, our first responders, including EMS personnel and firefighters, will be able to provide service thanks to the reliable ingress and egress. The 75-foot laid crossing over the old railway and the old canal, known as the Kanawha Canal Bridge, will now be replaced and with prefabricated steel bridge to withstand flooding. There are 4 total bridges, and over time we'll improve all of those, and also add additional supports to keep them maintained and make this area safer for everyone, especially if an ambulance or a fire truck is required. By sharing this load, Henrico County will continue its long history of protecting people and property and preserving our history and our beautiful natural environment. Who knows? We may be able to even provide some recreational access as part of this region's wonderful asset, the James River. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, I want to express my thanks to CSX for its generosity, as well as its many years of outstanding stewardship on the Kanawha Canal. At this time, I'd like to ask Michael Liebelt to join me at the lectern for a photo and a small token of our appreciation. Let's go out here. Thank you. I want to turn it over to two other individuals, Mr. Jim Courtney of our Division of Fire and Julian Charity from our Rec and Parks Division, to share just sort of a few thoughts from each side, what this means from a public safety and a historical preservation. So thank you for all coming out, listen to them, and please enjoy this beautiful piece of property. And thank you to the PR staff who have put together some of the best photos of this from their drones. Please enjoy that. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out. My name is Jim Courtney. I am a Deputy Chief with the Henrico County Division of Fire. Here to speak to you a little bit, as Mr. Rogish said, about how excited we are as a county and for the community and also for public safety about this endeavor that we're taking on today. For over 50 plus years, the Division of Fire has worked closely with CSX in conjunction with the canal, the land masses that are on the other side of the canal, as well as the bridges that serve these land masses. You can't see it in the camera, I don't think. There's a bridge directly to my left here that we use on a regular basis for our swiftwater assets, our dive team, and our water assets in general to get down to the James River, to use as a launching point for not only training, but when we need to get boats in the water for emergency operations. We use that bridge on a weekly basis here. And up the canal, a few miles that you can't see, is a landmass that we refer to as the West Ham, as the West Ham Island. The West Ham Island has 5 single-family residential homes on it, 9 structures in all. There's 2 bridges that serve the West Ham Island, one of which that we use primarily for emergency response. Approximately 5 years ago, in conjunction with our partnership with CSX, we were advised that the weight limit on that bridge was being reduced. And when we ran the numbers and looked at the weight of our primary frontline engine company that we use in the fire service to fight fires and do suppression operations, which is about 42,000 pounds, with water and tools, that we could no longer get across that bridge with that frontline engine. And as a result, the Division of Fire made some changes to the locations of some of our smaller equipment. And for media purposes, I have anybody that wants to take a look at the top of the hill. We didn't bring them down here because we didn't want them to get stuck. But at the top of the hill, I have a frontline engine company and what we refer to as an attack pumper, which weighs about 17,000 pounds, that also has fire suppression capability. We weren't impacted on the EMS side because an ambulance could still get across the bridge, but we did struggle a little bit finding a solution to get our frontline engine companies across there. In addition to that, we partnered with our neighboring communities, our neighboring jurisdictions, who also agreed in a mutual aid capacity to send us resources that were light enough to get across the bridge in case we needed additional resources. And we worked with our Division of Emergency Communications, our DEC here in Henrico, to ensure that our dispatchers were aware that this was a specialized response and needed specialized equipment to mitigate an incident over there. So, of course, it wasn't an ideal scenario, but we were able to come up with a solution to continue to provide service to the citizens on West Ham Island. We've been doing that for approximately 5 years now, but we're very excited about this move with CSX and the fact that we will have a bridge moving forward that can withstand the weight of our normal day-to-day apparatus, and we can go back to business as usual on the island. So that's just a little piece of how it's impacted public safety, and we just want to say thank you to CSX for your partnership.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Now, a canal system to bypass the falls in Richmond were first proposed by George Washington as a young surveyor prior to the American Revolution. Stretching from Richmond to West Ham, these canals parallel the James River for 7 miles, supporting bateau transportation on the James River. These flat-bottom boats floated down the James to Richmond loaded with hogsheads of tobacco, then returned with imports like furniture, dishes, and clothing. Construction of the full canal to lands which became West Virginia were slowed by the American Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. Work was slow, expensive, and required lots of labor. Enslaved men from neighboring plantations were hired to carry on the arduous work of the construction. The canal would eventually reach Botetourt County by 1851. But this canal represents unity. It once unified what was considered the frontiers of Virginia with its economic and political center of Richmond. It unified farming fields and mountain harvests to the marketplaces. It brought the farm to the table. During the industrial age, the railroad continued to bring those goods and the people together. Once again, Henrico and the Kanawha Canal are unified together, like the fresh waters of the upper James with the brackish waters of the lower James. It is only fitting that today, standing above the mighty James River, we are overlooking the lands Benedict Arnold traversed in 1781 when he and his legion burned the West End Foundry, seeking to disunite the efforts to support an independent nation. That we are announcing the reunification of these lands to the people of Henrico County and the opportunities that bring us to the future. So I'd love to thank you all for coming today and enjoy this beautiful weather in this beautiful place.
Thank you, Julian, for the excellent history lesson. What a tremendous piece of property. Thank you, CSX, Mr. Manager, my colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Courtney, for coming out today and explaining some of the reasons. This concludes our event for today, and just want to thank you all for being out here. Thank you very much. This is a great historic. Absolutely.
But I kept it.